Today is Wednesday, January 2nd. We're talking about an invitation to the White House, who's invited to meet today, and why some are calling it a stunt. Plus, attacks against driverless cars, new laws to expect in the new year, and the Netflix film that set a record. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. A formal meeting is supposed to happen today at the White House. President Trump invited the congressional leaders from both parties to the White House for a briefing on border security and the border wall. And the president later tweeted, quote, "Let's make a deal?" ? But some Democrats are calling it a stunt, and it's not clear if they'll actually show up. Remember, Trump is demanding funding for a border wall to end the partial government shutdown that is still going on. Democrats say they won't allow that funding. They call it wasteful. And starting tomorrow, January 3rd, newly elected members of Congress are sworn in, which means Democrats will take control of the House and have a little more leverage in these negotiations. For now, the AP reports Democrats in the House want to move forward without funding a wall. They plan to pass spending bills tomorrow that would fund the government until next month. But it's not clear if it'll actually work. They would still need the Senate, which is still controlled by Republicans, to go along with it, and President Trump to sign it. At this point, the president and Democratic leaders are still blaming each other for the partial shutdown, now on its 12th day. And the effects of that shutdown continue. The FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, said it'll mostly stop operations by midday tomorrow if the shutdown is still happening. And the Washington Post says starting today, Smithsonian museums and the National Zoo will close. And the AP reports without much staff working right now in national parks, trash, human waste, and illegal off-roading have started to overwhelm the parks. All of that, of course, on top of the 800,000 federal employees either working without pay or on unpaid leave during this shutdown, to be continued. Russia detained an American man and says he's a spy, but his family is saying no, he was just there for a wedding. Paul Whelan is his name, and his brother told CNN he's a former Marine who works as the global security director for an auto parts company in Michigan, that he often travels for work, but his family says he's far from a spy. Remember, this comes just a few weeks after a Russian woman, Maria Butina, was arrested in the U.S. and pleaded guilty to conspiring to influence American politics. So is the arrest in Russia retaliation for that? One expert told CNN it's possible, but she says the trial process will be very different in Russia and far less fair. North Korea's leaders started the new year with an address to his nation and a message to the U.S. Kim Jong-un said he would be willing to meet with President Trump for a second time, and even that North Korea would stop building atomic bombs, something President Trump highlighted in a tweet last night. But there's also this. Kim Jong-un said if sanctions on North Korea continue, then all bets are off and he'll take another path, telling the U.S. not to test his patience. Remember, President Trump had a historic meeting with Kim Jong-un back in June, and there are some different opinions now about what's happening next. One expert told the New York Times it doesn't seem that much has changed since that June meeting, but others say it's all about the negotiations and progress is in the works. The number of homicides in Chicago in 2018 is down from the year before, although the AP reports the number is still higher than both LA and New York combined. Still, it's progress in the nation's third largest city. Chicago police credit 1,000 new officers in recent years and new high-tech tools that help show police where violence is likely to happen next. In fact, there seems to be good news across the country. The New York Times reported in December that the murder rate across the U.S. was on track to be the largest one-year drop in 5 years. With the new year comes some new laws going into effect. Like in Washington state, you now have to be at least 21 years old to buy a semi-automatic assault rifle. And gun owners can be liable if their gun gets into the hands of a child or someone else who's not allowed to have it. In Hawaii, terminally ill patients are now allowed to end their lives with the help of a doctor. It's the 6th state now to make that legal. In California, you'll have to make a special request for a plastic straw if you want one at a full-service restaurant. Otherwise, they're not allowed. There are many more new laws in 2019, of course, including the minimum wage increases in states across the country. We talked about that one on Monday. NASA's New Year's Day mission was a success, and the first image, although blurry, has been sent back to Earth. Hundreds more are expected over the next 2 years. The New Horizons spacecraft flew past a mysterious icy space rock called Ultima Thule 4 billion miles away, and it's now the farthest exploration in the history of humankind. The goal? Learn some new things about how planets in our solar system were formed billions of years ago. A quick break now because today's episode is made free to you thanks to Babbel. It's a language learning app that helps you learn and speak a new language with confidence. What a great New Year's resolution, too. Try something new and learn a new language. Babbel has 14 different languages you can choose from, and Babbel's teaching method has been proven effective across multiple studies. I actually wish I had something like this when I was in high school learning Spanish, where the focus is more about having conversations with the words and phrases you'll actually use. And I know this is perfect for the newsworthy listeners because lessons are just 10 to 15 minutes each, making it convenient and easy to start the learning process. And right now you can try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com or download the app and try it for free. That's Babbel, Babbel.com, or download the app to try it for free. With Babbel, you'll speak a new language with confidence. It's no wonder it's the #1 selling language learning app in the world. Again, go to Babbel.com to try it for free. Now back to the news. Well, some people are going after self-driving cars. The New York Times reports a driverless car company connected to Google called Waymo has had nearly 24 attacks on its cars being tested in just one Arizona city. People have thrown rocks, slashed tires, and even tried to run them off the road. One couple told the Times their child was almost hit by one of the driverless cars, and ever since, they've wanted the company gone for good. Analysts say there may also be some concerns about the self-driving tech taking away jobs. But a Waymo spokesperson said most people there have been very welcoming and that the technology could actually make roads safer. A Netflix original film has set a new record for the platform. The company says more than 45 million accounts watched the horror movie Bird Box with Sandra Bullock within its first week of release. That's the biggest debut for the streaming service ever. Although The Verge points out no other third party is really verifying those numbers like they do with box office figures and network TV ratings, so just keep that in mind. And speaking of the box office, by the way, Aquaman got #1 again over the holiday weekend. Did you win? The New Year's Day Mega Millions jackpot is the 8th largest in its history. The drawing happened last night, and ABC News says there was one still unknown winner. That winning ticket, though, is now worth $425 million. It was sold in New York. Although there were also some big winners in other states, even if they didn't take home the jackpot. Well, no matter how much money you have, you can now donate some to charities with just your voice. Mashable says Google's voice-activated assistant now works with Network for Good. It's a nonprofit that helps connect donations with charities. Google says it hopes this makes it easier for people to give back to the causes they love. And that's it for today, our first episode of 2019. It is my goal to make it easy, convenient, and a little more fun for you to stay in the know. And I would love to do the same for many more people throughout the new year. So if you get value out of this show, please join me in spreading the word about the newsworthy. Also, if you ever want to read more about the stories we talk about here, I try to make it easy for you. Go to the homepage of thenewsworthy.com. Just click episodes in the upper right-hand corner and look for the date of the episode you're interested in. You'll find all the story sources and links right there. The Newsworthy is ready for you to listen every weekday by 4 in the morning. I'll be back with more news tomorrow. Have a great day.